What's up, everybody? It's Takimoto from AddictedToQuack.com. Sorry about the long hiatus on the YouTube channel. I do have a life outside duck sports. I know it's sad. I wish my whole life was duck sports. Unfortunately, it doesn't make me any money doing this job. So I got to do other things, and it got real busy for a while. But I'm back. I got the bike helmet on, safety first, and we're launching a new segment entitled The Speed Chronicles. So I bet you're wondering, Takimoto, why in God's name are you attempting to do a YouTube video while riding your bicycle? Now, this segment is called The Speed Chronicles, and it's going to take a look at all things speed relating to Oregon football. Oregon being the fastest team in the country at football, I think it was a necessity to really focus in on speed. And we're going to start today, and the reasons why I'm on the bike is with D'Anthony Thomas. His freshman year was dynamic. He was, the biggest threat to score every time he was on the field, and that includes LaMichael James. We saw that in the Rose Bowl, where both of his carries from scrimmage ended up going for touchdowns. But D'Anthony Thomas decided this spring he was going to run track. So he joined the track team on May 1st. May 4th was the Oregon Twilight Meet. And he comes out and runs a 10.65 on the 100-meter dash. Now, 10.65 seconds over 100 meters translates to about 21 miles an hour. I think it's a shade over 21 miles an hour. Now, sadly, I cannot run 21 miles an hour. Otherwise, I would have been on the Oregon football team. So, I'm simulating that by riding around on this bike at somewhere close to 21 miles an hour. The bumps are slowing me down a little bit, but I'm going to keep pressing on. So, the big question for a lot of Duck fans is, how is D'Anthony Thomas going to be used next year? Last year he was dynamic as a receiver and as a returner, and was able to get enough carries in the backfield that I think a lot of us feel comfortable with him going into next season as the number 2 running back. That being said, we don't want to lose his talents as a receiver, and I think some of the worry is that the hit and running back depth with LaMichael James's graduation and Trey Carson's transfer is that we're going to need him to shoulder more of the load as a running back, and thus we're going to possibly lose some of his explosiveness as a receiver. And I think that completely depends on how fall camp goes at those two positions. Currently at running back, Kenyon Barner's the starter, and there's nothing to worry about with Kenyon Barner. He's had the ability to be a feature back for 2 years now. He's just been sitting behind LaMichael. But beyond that, you get into AL40, former walk-on, as well as Kenny Bassett might see some time, and then Byron Marshall, true freshman, who's going to come in fall camp and try and learn the ropes fast enough to get into some action next season, because we're going to need his depth. But if fall camp shapes up and 40's not running, too great, and Marshall's having more of a C-strunk type development where he's a little slow to learn the playbook, and the coaching staff just isn't that comfortable with him starting the season, then we're definitely going to see D'Anthony Thomas get, I would say probably 15 carries a game, because we just need somebody in the Oregon offense. There's no replacing running in the Oregon offense, and that's something that we're going to need to have, especially if Brian Bennett ends up being the starter, because I think if Bennett's the starter, we will see more of the run look we've been seeing. If Marcus Mariota starts, maybe we air it out a little bit. But yeah, on the flip side of that, if it's really hard to concentrate on this bike. Good Lord, I'm trying to get by a car. But on the flip side of that, if 40 looks good, and if Marshall's able to come in and learn the ropes quickly, then we will continue to see D'Anthony Thomas out wide as a receiver. And we won't lose that facet of the game. Now, trying to predict his stats for next year because of this how are we going to use him problem, I think is nay impossible to predict, so I'm not even going to try. I will say that his 18 total touchdowns from last year, that number is going to go up because he's just going to get the ball more. And if you're getting a playmaker like him the ball more, he's going to put it in the end zone more. So I'm going to say 23 total touchdowns next year for him. If I had to guess, I would say 12 rushing, 9 receiving, and 2 more in the kicking game. Those are my guesses. So, from the sunny streets of Oakland, California, don't worry everybody, it's not dark yet, so I'm relatively safe. This has been Takimoto for AddictedToQuack.com. Go Ducks, and I will catch you next time with another edition of the Speed Chronicles.